describe your
So
first
I
few
think
days?
I could say the happiest moment in my life.
You think you're able to earn as well as save for your second year course? Is it easy for everyone or it's a lot of hard work?
In Canada, the work cycle is something like they hire in just summers and the work is least in
At
winters.
any point, do you have that negative feeling of what the dash, it's not worth it? Hi, wonderful people. Welcome to yet another episode of the Coaching Culture Show podcast. My guest is very special today because he is one of my IELTS students. I also had the privilege of being his study abroad counselor. So I have helped him all the way from IELTS to also selecting his courses and eventually helping him with the study permit application process. He is right now in Canada as we shoot this podcast. To give you a little background about who he is, his name is Manav Shroff. He is from Mumbai, and in Mumbai, he completed his graduation in management studies. He's also someone that started working at an early age, right after the 12th grade, I guess. So he had 3 years of work experience in India in operations and management, and then he decided to pursue post graduation in Canada. So if you are an Indian student still thinking and dreaming of Canada, what is it like to be a student? Why did Manav, which course did he choose? Why marketing and not sports? And how is the entire application process? So I hope that this episode helps you with all these questions that even I commonly get asked. And I've tried to give you an unfiltered, real view of the entire experience. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. And without any further delay, let's dive into the conversation. Manav, thank you so much for coming on to the Coaching Culture Show podcast. I'm really excited that finally we are here. And I can't wait to dive into the set of questions that we just discussed. So, to give an insight to our audience, if you can tell anything that you would like to share about yourself.
So basically, talking about my back home experience in India, I did my bachelor's in management studies. It's specialized in marketing from Mumbai University. And later on, I had a work experience of nearly 1 year. And after doing that, I planned to come to Canada in May 2023.
Yes.
And I pursued my marketing management postgraduate certificate from Sentinel College, which I recently
Wow.
completed. Yeah,
Okay, so I'm going to pause you right there.
okay.
What part in your journey did you decide that enough is enough? I don't want to be in India. I want to move overseas. And out of so many countries, what led you to selecting Canada as your final choice?
So I would say it is while I was working, but since I started working at an early stage in my career, like I started working when I was pursuing my grade 12. So I did since my bachelor's passed during the COVID as well. So I was pursuing my bachelor's online. So I had an opportunity to work during that time as well. And during that time, I got to like got an image in my working with my colleagues that to work in India, you either require a high degree from a high institute to get salaries of more than 1 lakh or 2 lakh per month, or you have to be that business mind to create your own business, or again you have to either wait for 10 years 5 years struggle and then you get salary hikes up to such extent. But being frank, I did not have that much patience. Neither I could say I am a studious kid who can pursue things like IIM IITs. So that was one of the reason which prompted me to go abroad. And secondly, it was also a kind of, I can say, from my family, I have my brother as well who managed to go abroad as well, and he's living a good life. So even that is something that motivated me. Talking about why Canada, so I would say I had pretty much of options like UK, Canada, and Australia. When when I had a word with you for the first time, I remember I just came to you to talk about that I want to pursue sports management. But since at that time I did not had that much of research, I was not so much keen on what to pursue and what to not. But later on when we researched and got to know, so I got different opportunities, I could say, and different challenges in different countries. Like for UK, I got that I would have to pursue a 1 year course, but that might be possibilities that, like, future possibilities of not getting a citizenship or a further stay extent in UK. In that case, I Canada was a country which was much more favorable for our students, and specifically for me being a commerce background student. So that was one of the reasons for choosing Canada.
Yeah, I think obviously now, if I'm talking to you, there is a very, I can say, extremely clear and confident.
Yeah,
You knew that, okay, this is the right choice. But if
yeah,
I'm backtracking, talking to you for the first time, there were
yeah,
too many things that we were confused together, right? So
yes,
I'm going to ask you to hold that image of yours. I know you spoke to your friends and family, you are money driven, which is fantastic. And I think it is good to be money driven and ambitious at the same time. And when you tell me that you're from Centennial and you then tell you're not a good student, they don't go hand in hand. Let me be very honest that you are an A-lister because your grades were never a challenge for me to discuss your profile to counselors overseas or university representatives, right? So definitely you are a dedicated, hardworking student, and I think you took certain decisions at the right time. You said that you worked right at an early age of even the 12th standard. I'm going to ask you to highlight how is the work experience in India?
I would say it's something which has made me learn a lot. First of all, like, that was, I could say, one of the major, like, things which have played in my life. I can say advantage which has played in my life, which has made me to connect with more people and develop my skills which are required in a corporate level at an early stage. And yes, it has given me the opportunity, I can say, to take an experience of how actual things work in the corporate world. Like, I see that there are things pretty much different of what we study, is some things sometimes completely different than what we have to work on. So that is one of
Right.
an advantage which we got on. And yes, as I said, there were very good connections that I have met, and they have been a good, important journey. They have helped me in my journey of my life as well till date as well. So that is one of the advantage. And I would say, talking about working in India, so it is kind of, I could say, for me it was hard, because in India it's not like in like, for example, now since I'm already working in Canada, so it's here, it's like you have fixed time, you sign out and sign in at a particular time, you don't overtime and all stuff. In India the things are different, obviously. But yeah, being in India, it gives you, I would say, an advantage that you stay with your family, and again you stay with your friends. But again, coming to Canada, you don't have that advantage, though you have the advantage of money, of earning more money, but not the advantage of living with your family and friends. That is one of the things. And talking about working in India, it's been good. And I would say it has sometimes been harsh as well, where I have to work over 12 hours a day or something like that. But yeah, again, it's a part and parcel of my life. So yeah, it's been a good journey till date now.
Yeah, I think it is fair to say that because you worked back in India, it set you on the right track to present yourself in Canada. And of course, I am going to highlight or I'm going to get deeper into our conversation about your experience in Canada. But for now, I am still sticking to our experience when you were back in India. Okay.
Okay.
So you started working at an early age. A lot of your friends, colleagues, and even your brother that is overseas told you that, okay, or nudged you in that direction of move overseas. You started your research. Now, did you speak to other consultancies? Because I know that I did not put out any advertisement, or I'm not available as a typical office where you walk in and I'm your counselor, that you'll find me at one of the office desk where there are
Yeah.
100 counselors working. So what led you to working with me? I remember you took a mock test of IELTS, and then you also took up our membership.
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, so what I really want to understand, what made you trust me? Because I'm not available in any physical locations in India, in Mumbai. I was completely online, more of this conversation on Zoom and on the phone. So yeah, I think.
So I would say that was something which was very strange that we met. So I remember while I started my research for going abroad, I had visited a consultancy back in Mumbai, and they counseled me for the first time, and it was like when they were telling me about the procedure. So they recommended me for again IELTS training and writing up my SOPs. So
Right.
that was part when I got to know about you. And after that, since that was around my second year of my college. And after that, since it came at a pause, because again, I had my last year bachelor degree preparation going on. So it did came at a pause. So I had saved your contact number. And apparently, it happened
Uh-huh.
that after my during the third, fourth, like the third last or the fourth last month, I started so researching it like going to abroad again, the topic again, and I just called you randomly and got to know, hey, Westward, I'm looking for this, and they just, I remember they had a mock call with you where we
Yes.
had in the evening where we had discussed what to do and what to not. And later on, I took over your membership, and again, once I was not that much serious at that time, but again, when after completing my bachelor's, I did work in the corporate and had an experience. I thought now I'm going to go abroad, and I just contacted you for my IELTS coaching and all that stuff, and it
Yes.
just went on. Yes.
Yes, that's right. So IELTS, you took the mock test, and I remember that you're pretty good in English, right? Well versed, A-lister student. I think one of the reasons we take the mock test is also to check whether you need coaching or you don't need coaching. Of course, there was an area of improvement where I thought we could work together, and you
Hmm.
ended up taking a 7,000 rupees coaching program where we covered reading, and was it writing that we
Yeah.
covered together? So
Yeah.
reading and writing, because you were already good. Of course, clearly you're good in speaking, and listening was not a problem. So do you think coaching helped you score better and clear IELTS the first time? And again, I don't want you to highlight this just because I'm a coach, but I want to clarify this, because again, a lot of students just think IELTS is an English test, and they're like, no big deal. I'm just going to prepare one night or 2 days prior. I'll go take my test. And sadly, they don't get the desired band. So if you're going overseas, you do need no band less than 6. Overall should be 6.5. So I think the question I'm getting at is, why did you think it's important to invest in your coaching, whether it was with me or with, let's say, you would have gone somewhere else?
So talking about the the reason for investing in coaching was I remember when I took your mock test, and I did do the listening part easily, but when it came to reading and especially speaking, it was I still remember the question that you had asked me like how can you describe your house? And I was just like, my house is a 2 BHK apartment, and that's it. I just finished, which was not actually the way it is about to be said. So that was, and again, talking about the English preparation, I don't think it's just an English exam where you come, write, and speak, but it also is an exam which teaches you how to write and different ways. So basically, since reading is just not reading and writing down answers, it's a
Yeah.
technique that you learn in that. So that is one of the biggest I can say one of the biggest reasons for investing in like learning IELTS. And apart from that, even for other parts, I would say writing is just not that you write down. They give you something and you write it down. It's the way how do you build up the context and how do you build up good vocabulary and good phrases. So that is something that had to be built on for me. So investing in the coaching part was much more essential over there as well.
Yeah, I think you come across, again, if you have set your mind to do something. First, I thought, okay, you're not serious because you took a lot of break. I know that you were going to pursue your last year of graduation as well. Then you again came back, you took the membership, you took the mock test, and you took a few days, and then you're like, okay, that's it. Here's my money. Let's start the class.
Yes.
After you completed the coaching, I think again, I did not force you to book your test. I was not spoon feeding you. You booked your own test, you had your
Yeah.
own timelines, and you just needed my support. So, again, hats off to you for having that clarity. And rightly so, because immediately after coaching, you cleared IELTS with, again, extremely good scores, and you got done with that checklist at the first time itself. And that felt like a relief, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes. Obviously. Yeah.
Okay. And then comes the major part of course counseling. Now, I know you said you wanted to pursue sports management, and we've had like a ton of conversations where I have clearly told you that think again what kind of jobs you're going to get, and don't consider me as a counselor that gets paid to sell you courses, irrespective the way I have tied up with people overseas or however I operate on my income, I will be making money irrespective of what you choose, right? And
Yes.
I think I was someone that was not very encouraging of you to take the sports management right away.
Yes.
I
Agree.
thought, listen, you have done marketing and you should continue your post graduation in marketing. So usually what I've noticed in Gen Z generation, I could be wrong. If you tell them something uh, that is not as per their checklist or what they want to do, they will immediately dismiss that person off and literally have that FO word and say, okay, get
Yeah.
out of my orbit. I don't care. But you're
Yes.
someone that took my advice seriously. I also challenged you around prove me wrong because that's what I like to
Yes.
do. Like, go
Yeah.
talk to a lot of your friends and family. You don't have to trust me because I'm still an outsider. And I told you to come back with research that supports sports management and not marketing. So, how do you want
Yes.
to elaborate on what actually made you take the marketing and not sports?
So I would first like let I discuss like that why sports management. So talking about sports, so after I completed my bachelor, since I did my management like bachelor's in management studies, which is a specialized marketing as well. So it since it was the bachelor's program was online, so we did not get any I can say in class activities or I can say in hand experience about marketing. So it kind of bored off to me. It did not gain that much of interest in me, I could say. And apart from that, since I also had my work experience mostly in the operational field, so I did not get to experience the marketing field as well. So that was a part which made me like I don't want to do this because it's boring. And for me at that time, marketing was just like doing sales. That's it. And since I had done an internship in sales and I knew that it is something that the managers would be on your head that you have to sell this, you have to sell this. So that was not the ideal job that I was looking for in my career, which I was wrong when I researched. But yeah, but talking about sports management, since I am a sports enthusiast already. I follow various sports such as cricket, football, and etc. a lot. So, and I couldn't pursue the dream of being a sports player. So that was the reason I wanted to get into that field though. So sports management was one of the reasons for like getting into that field and working for sport. But talking about why taking marketing management again, so it was you who advised that you should, like, I would clearly say that it was you who showcased me that marketing is just not about sales and selling things. So
Correct.
that is something which encouraged me to like do much more research on, and I went on to talk with my colleagues and other friends as well that what should you do in such a scenario, and they told me that it's not just sales and marketing, but it's also about digital marketing, content writing, and all many stuff as well.
Which
So
is
yeah,
a
again,
booming industry, by the way, and
yeah,
it's only going to
yes,
explode. But it's also the practicality of getting the visa, right? Because if we are in India, we have to write a visa SOP or a statement of, of purpose or intent, whatever you want to name it, but it still have it has to explain what is your career path and why you have chosen to enter Canada. And you very well know after COVID, the visa
yeah,
rejections have been massive, right? Because
yes,
there's a upsurge of Indian students applying to go to Canada, whether they want to, or it's a peer pressure, or it's an Instagram trend that they are following. I can't speak for all students, but what I told you that listen, if you want to pursue sports, I know that's your passion, but you can look at it as your second year course once you're in Canada. And do you
yes,
now agree? Because I think by the time we were recording this conversation, you're almost through with the very first course. You've in fact
yes,
even extended your visa permit, which again we'll talk a little later. But you definitely feel right. So entry point was very easy because we got our visa in the very first application, which is
yes,
fantastic.
yes,
So you
agreed.
got your IELTS done, you listened to my advice, you took the marketing course. We got admission also at Centennial, which, by the way, is very difficult to even get a revert because they don't have any application fees. Remember, you and I were like,
Yeah,
should we wait? Should we not wait?
yeah,
And though we had backup universities and colleges, but I'm glad that you ended up at Centennial. So we've covered the coaching, we've covered your course curation, and then your visa application. Again, you trusted me with a very important part of your process. I told you that we have tie-ups with regulated consultants based in Canada, and you just did exactly what I told you to. So at any time, was there fear or any place where others, like your friends and family, doubted me or my process?
I would say no, because again, it was just me who was handling with my own
Yes.
stuff. So it was basically, I would say that it's my parents are not someone who would be just behind me that why are you doing this? It's they just leave me a part and you do your part. So that was one of the reasons. So it's just me handling my own things. And apart from that, I would also say that while I was working back in India, I had an experience of working with an education consultancy as well. So I had seen the whole scenario of how the things go on and how students worry about getting visas and how like in a day around hundreds of visas are applied and all that stuff, the document issue. So since I already took the first gear with you, so it was just like let's complete the whole story with you as well. So that was one of the reason of going again with the visa process. And yeah, talking about why specifically, so it was a kind of a belief that had developed on you since we had ample. I remember just we just talking for an hour or 2 hours just for whether we should apply for this university or no,
Yes.
whether we should apply for this intake or no. We had ample of conversation, and that initially led to trust building, I could say. So that was
Yeah.
again a reason to apply with you guys as well.
Yeah. And I think very important is we don't have these frills, right? Pay for statement of purpose, pay for visa SOP, pay for university SOP, and do this and do that. And
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
if
I could.
you're a student that trusts me, I know I can take you through the loops, though we do
Yes.
have extended team. And I think we were very clear with what I can do and what I cannot do. And you've been extremely patient. It's actually a pleasure to have you as my ongoing member, because I again don't notice a lot of maturity with others, and I shouldn't be speaking a lot into that. So this is what led you to reach Canada. I think right now I don't want you to talk about Centennial or your experience with your university, but how was the feeling of you landing there? Like, could you describe your
So
first few days?
I
Yes.
still remember your 5:30 a.m. message that congratulations, Manav, we are going to Canada.
Yes.
I guess it was 10 a.m. in the morning, and I just checked my phone in the morning as usual, and I
Yes.
just see your message. So that was a part which just like I could say the happiest moment in my life. And yes, again, once you, it was just, I guess, a month since I had booked up my flight tickets before as well, since me being an eager person, so I couldn't wait. So I had booked up my flight ticket, so I just had 1 month to fly out to Canada. So it was just all family gatherings and stuff going on. But yeah, I would say after reaching Canada and my first step in Toronto, it was first of all mine. I guess it was 2 degrees, and you just step into. I came from 40 degrees, and it's suddenly 2 degrees. So that was first of
Yeah.
the boom which I faced. And yes, again, since the initial days, you just come down and settle down in the country, like settle with the weather conditions, and later on start working with the college stuff and jobs and stuff as well. So it has been a good journey till date.
Okay, so
Frankfully, I would
pause
say,
there. Like, okay, I know we have to talk about your struggle. We were talking about accommodation, and we also discussed
yeah.
the rentals and all of that. But did you have friends back in Canada that came to receive you, or you were on your own? I remember telling you that now join other WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. So, do you want to share a little bit about that? Probably it could help a student who's watching this.
Yeah, so it was on, I guess, I don't know, I have not seen, but I would say that in Canada, it is something that Facebook is an important part of their like country. In India, we Gen Zs don't follow now Facebook too much, but here
Correct.
it's like they are WhatsApp and they prefer Facebook more over WhatsApp. So that is another thing.
Oh.
So joining different groups I had joined couple of group from my college on Facebook, which like I got to know that there were people from Mumbai as well coming to Canada with me. So that was a part which helped me to engage with them, and I met them once I arrived in Canada. But yeah, I came alone and there was no one to pick me up. So I had an Uber to come to my Airbnb, which I had booked for a couple of days. And I just went on to hunt for my accommodation later on. So yeah, that is all about it.
That is scary, right? Like when
Yeah, it
you
is.
now again, as I
So
said, you're all nonchalant and like because those days are over, and I'm glad they are behind you.
yeah.
But okay, let me go back to when you said that you booked the tickets even before your visa came through. So is that advisable? Would you tell other students to also do the same, or you or you had me talk to you and say, why did you do this? And I was the hyper
I
one asking you.
I don't know, I don't know, but why? But I had that gut feeling that I would get my visa. But being
Right.
frank, probably it was my educational background, strong background, which had that belief that yeah, I would get into it. And apart from that, since I got Emirates ticket at a cheaper rate, so that was also one of the thing which forced
Was
me a
it
visa.
again, does the airline give you the flexibility of, like, let's say a visa would be delayed, so you booked a ticket that could be adjusted at later dates as well, right?
Yes, yes, and they also give you student discounts as well. So that is also a part which many students don't know. But yeah, like for talking about Emirates, we had received at around 10% discount as a student as well. And yeah, talking about your they changed. They were kind of flexible. You pay them a certain amount and they change up your dates as well.
Right. But you
So
also know, like I did tell you that even A-lister students were getting rejected, right? I think we were discussing everything. It's a good thing that you fell at the right side of luck, because
yeah.
sometimes even the best of the best consultants, no matter how much ever they try to get the visa, they could be rejected. But I'm glad everything fell in place for you. Uh, what made you decide your Airbnb booking? Is it easy? Did you find this online? Because I'm going to
Uh,
definitely ask you at the end if you can share any resources. So I'm going to obviously put all of that in the show notes.
Yeah, so talking about finding my accommodation in Canada, so it was like first days I just tried to engage with people who are coming with me. But again, since it's not someone that you know, it was not someone that I knew already. So it's kind of difficult to believe in them that because again, the internet is like you might know he might be a scammer or so. So that's not
Yes.
a true part to believe on. So I had an thing in my mind that I would like stay for since I landed in Canada on 24th of April. So I had a plan that I would stay for 6 days in Airbnb. Until that time, I had a friend who was coming with me as well, not in the after a couple of days. But yeah, we had a plan that we would find an accommodation simultaneously. But yeah, it was a thing which didn't, so it was like I had booked my Airbnb till 31st, I remember
Okay.
30th, and it was like we didn't find a house at all, and I had to like call up my parents and they somehow got a contact from my family friend, and it was like one of my friends who was staying here in Canada near to me in the Toronto area, and he just contacted me up that you can come up to my place and stay with me for a couple of days till you don't find an accommodation. So yeah, it was like I stayed with him for 2 3 days, and later on we just got an accommodation, and we were three of our friends who were living together in an accommodation. So it was a kind of a harsh start to the path, but yeah, it is something like you learn things. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't like advise student to like take Airbnb. It can be either you take it for more days, so it's a kind of a safety for you, or you get in touch with students or your friends who already stay in Canada and you stay with them as well. Even that's an option over here.
So you think your all these 6 days where you were staying at that Airbnb, you were apartment hunting and you didn't get anything?
Yeah, so it's like in once you come to Canada. So in Canada, I would say it's like kind of it's like since in India, it's not like India, like just you see the house and you like it and you just pay the deposit to the owner. It's not like as easy as here. The thing is like since in Canada they know that there are many students coming up and there I think there's been issue with the students not paying up their rents on timely basis. So the even the lenders don't agree many a times to like lend their house to a student, so they ask you for documents and there's like a whole procedure going through, and then if like they approve you, so in Canada you have a process of paying off your first and last month on forefront, and then you are like allowed to live in the house. So even that is one of the things that a person should know, because again, once you come to Canada you just have $2,000 in your pocket apart if you not like if you don't bring some money from your home. So even that
Yeah.
is something, because it's like around since the current rents are around 500, 550, so it's like just $1,000 to $1,100 out of your pockets. So yeah, even that is something that someone should watch on as well.
Yeah, they should definitely consider that, right?
Yeah.
And I think you again had a strike of luck where somebody in your family was
Yes.
there. So now you're still staying in that same apartment?
No, so we just since I joined Sentinel College in May, so we had my friends and I like just decided to shift, and currently now I just live with them. We are like around group of 5 people who live in a 2 BHK apartment.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 5 people in a 2 BHK, very comfortable. Where is this located, if you're comfortable sharing that?
So I am located in Scarborough. It's near the Sentinel College, and it's close to downtown as well, the Toronto area, which you say. And yeah, it's been like around 6 months that we have been living here, and yeah. So now
6 months.
since yeah, yes, 6 months, and now since I would be starting my second course, so even that would be something that would be close to my college as well. So even that's good as well.
And for this 2 BHK, so five of you, I'm sure, are dutching the rental. From your pocket, it's 500 Canadian dollars that goes every month towards your rent.
No, it's like it's around 540 plus you play the utilities, so it's around $600 for a month.
Expensive.
Yes, but again, since it's like just we have it, like I would say it depends on the area as well. Because if you live in a basement, so it might be cheaper. And yeah, it's also that I have seen that sometimes it's the accommodation is much more cheaper for the girls compared to like boys. Because again, I guess many of the us, not I would say us, but many of the lenders do prefer keeping girls at their place because they are, I don't know the ideology, but they believe that they are much more clean than us, which is also a
Okay.
reason that girls do get their accommodation at a cheaper place around 400, 450. But again, it's like
Oh,
either a
crazy.
basement. Yeah. But since I'm talking about our place, since it's something which is just 2 min 5 minutes away from the metro subway station, and it has all the grocery things and all this 2 minutes away, so it's that's way it's kind of expensive as well. That's the reason it's expensive as well.
But I think it works out the same, right? Like you rather pay for your rental and utility and save on your travel because I've heard students that are staying far off. The train
Yeah,
travel is expensive.
yeah,
Plus, the stations are located far off from residential areas, right? They
yeah.
have to walk 45 minutes, maybe half an hour, and in that crazy weather. So I think you're pretty well
I
settled.
think it's not about being expensive because again, it's just if you stay in the GTA area, you pay the same transit fare. But I guess it's much more about you walking in -5 degrees Celsius, like you walk for 20 minutes. So
It's
that's
crazy.
something which can be harsh as well for many people who like experience their first winter just like me. Though it's said that this year it's not been that much cold, but yeah, it's been difficult like to walk in -10 or -11 degrees Celsius.
Oh my God. So that's another thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Acclimatizing.
yes.
But you seem to be pretty happy with this accommodation. It's closer, it saves you time. Do you want to talk about how you're already going to take up the second year course? Now, I was sitting back home, still in this comfortable chair, if you remember. And I said, don't worry, your second year course, you can pay it on your own because we were discussing finances as well. And
Yeah.
you're a very independent person. You stopped taking money from home at a very early age. So you think you're able to earn as well as save for your second year course? Is it easy for everyone or it's a lot of hard work? Now you can be as honest and brutal on this question.
I would say that it would depend on the intake that you come. Because I would suggest,
Okay.
since, yeah, because again, since I came in the May intake, so finding a job was kind of easier for me, I could say. Because since I landed in April, so it was the time when the summers has just started, and people, since in Canada, the work cycle is something like they hire in just summers and the work is leased in winters since the sales and everything is leased in winters. So I just landed while they had started hiring, and just by luck I had my colleague who had referred me for a work like thing, and I just joined McDonald's Canada. But again, it's something like I could say it can be your luck, or talking about the intake. So, so for the second year fee, it's something like since I just completed my first year course in December. So now December to May, I am on my break. But since I did not have any second job, so McDonald's was not able to cater me that much efficient hours to build up that much money. So right now I'm just able to pay my own expenses. That's it. So though I paid my first semester fees, but it was again from my GIC, and I had to ask my parents to send me money from India. But I would suggest, if of course I would suggest, if you come in an intake like Jan or September, you get a break during the summertime and you get more work opportunities as well during that time. So that can be a essential part to look on while you plan to come to Canada. But
So
again,
pause, hold
once you
on. You said so May intake is not the ideal intake?
I would say it's not an ideal intake for someone who's looking for a break. But again, it's on your luck. If you get a second job, then it's in your hands. But if not, then you will have to spare the whole break. And like you cannot do, because again, once you come to Canada, you don't do a corporate job, right? It's just few you work at a restaurant or you work as a security or something like that. And in that scenario, they might not be able to like cater you more hours because they themselves are not able to cater their sales and revenue things. So that's, if you are able to work 40 hours, they might just give you 12 hours, 20 hours, or 25 max. So yeah, if you're taking a break, then I don't think May is one of the correct intake to come in. I would rather suggest coming in Jan intake or a September intake, because at that time you will have your break during either September to December, or like you will have your break in like the summer, specifically May to September, which might be the
Mm-hmm.
ideal reason to earn more money and pay up your own fees. So yeah,
Okay.
that is one of the part.
But again, a lot of students said that, okay, if you're going to take a May intake, the rush at immigration, accommodation gets a little easier. September is crazy. Mixed reviews, right? Like each to their own, I think, in this space.
I think so, not, but again, though it's busy, but it's, I can say again, though it becomes busy, but there, like for instance, if you say for talking about households, so it's something which in Canada they work on lease. So you sign up a 1 year lease whenever you buy a house. So you are not a, you are just, you have to stay that place for 1 year. So it moves on like that. So if you sign a lease in May, so that lease will get over in next May, right? So it's depends on like household. I don't think so. It depends on intake. Again, it's if you come in January, in May, or in September, there will be properties that would be available to you first. It again depends on a person, like how he himself or herself researches on the same, and how he builds up the connection with other people to find a house or something. But yeah, talking about jobs, I feel like in Canada, it is like the thing from March to specifically till September, October is the peak month where you are able to find a job. Because specifically from like talking about now, if you have seen, I just visited a job fair, not one, three job fairs in Canada recently, and they had like hirings of around 4,000 people, 2,000 people. So like they hire in mass. So there is a high potential of you getting hired over there. But if you come in May, sorry, September, again, they might hire for the December Christmas things as well. So they have mass hiring during that period as well. So again, it would depend on you or how you plan your things and how you distribute your resumes and how you apply on different things. But I don't think so that September can be a bad intake to come in, because again, there are many people coming there, and it's not, it can like, it cannot be like many people just come and they would be jobless, or mostly all of them get jobs. So yeah, it's just on you, a person's nature, I would say, how he thinks and how he does his research. Again, and but talking about my own personal experience, it, I don't think so May is a current intake if you are someone who's like looking to take a break in the middle of your studies and earn your money and like pay your own fees. Then I would rather suggest to come into a Jan intake or a September intake.
Okay, I remember you telling me that I don't care, let my graduation result. I want the next intake that is available. You remember we had that
Yeah,
conversation of September is the major intake, and you said I can't wait for that long. Get me on
yeah.
even a conditional offer. So now your experience has changed, right? Like
Yes.
sometimes you have to consider the practicality and not just the rush of going there. But if you ask me from a standpoint of immigration and visa, I think if your course is available and it's a decent course, just take it because you are going to make the best of that decision. Do you agree that moving overseas is what you make out of it? Because just like you have a positive outlook on working at McDonald's, and I think you're someone that has also very few update positions like these on LinkedIn. Because back home, now we all know that no job is a small job. Every job brings value, experience, and most importantly, it is your bread and butter that keeps the lights on, right?
Yeah.
So I love this attitude about you, and I think I did cheer you on when I saw that LinkedIn update of your designation and company. So hats off for that attitude. Uh, of course, that changes, right? Would you be comfortable talking like this in India? I guess not. Our culture here
No.
is very different. Culture in Canada is more open. Everybody is sharing the same challenges. But do you see that, or have you noticed other people that are putting something else on their Instagram and the reality is a little different? Or you think everybody is putting a very right image and the correct, authentic experience of Canada?
So, talking honestly, I believe that first of all, I would just say that coming overseas is not like you just come and you start earning money. So I preferably don't think that someone should come to like a abroad country, either to Canada or UK, especially after 12th, because I have seen people like just coming in that hope of that they would get a job and they would start earning lots of money and that's done, that's it. But I just don't see that people after completing their 12th grade they don't even complete their bachelor's degree and they just come to do a diploma course, which I don't feel is relevant because a person should have at least a bachelor's qualification. And this current world where something, everything changing every day, we don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen when tomorrow or not. So that is something that I look on. And also talking about like the social media stuff, it is kind of some things are harsh, like some things are not that harsh. It's just not that you come to Canada and you just enjoy the CN Tower and you enjoy the Niagara Falls and all that stuff. It has to be hard. Like talking about, it has to be like you might not be able to get a 2 hour sleep in a day. Like there have been days where I have worked from like 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then again from night at like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So you don't get to sleep as well. So that are something harsh. And again, since there is no one with you, not your no family, no friends, you have to like start from your scratch, building up your friends, having such relations with them. Though it's like you have to build trust on people, but it's like you don't have someone to support you, like just like our parents do at home. You don't have someone to help you to like there is again you have to make your own breakfast, lunch, dinner. So that is something a headache as well. And today's like you come from work and you have that tension that what will I eat today. So even that is
Yeah.
something that worries as well. And it's not just like you come to Canada and you just have party and all that stuff and you enjoy. First of all, it's not, I think so that like from I see that from now even the social media influencers are working that Canada is not a place that a student comes and he directly gets a job. They have to struggle either. Talking about my one of my friends recently, he just got an employment after a year. So even that was one of the harsh reality that I saw, that we both came together to Canada, but he got hired last month and he was jobless for a whole year, and I don't know how he survived. But yeah, even that is an important thing to learn, that you cannot just rely that once you come to land in Canada you'll get a job. it might take 2 months, 3 months, or even 12 months for you to land at a job. So yeah, that's the whole harsh reality of Canada, I would say.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was going to ask you, as I said, when I'm working or when I worked with you when you were in India to when I'm talking to you, I've always sensed a very high degree of maturity in you whenever you speak. It could be because you started earning at an early age. I don't know what could be the real reason. But how did you personally develop this resilience and grit that I'm not going to throw myself a pity party? I know life in Canada is not going to be a red carpet laid out for me. And I think I also kept reminding you in our conversations that it's going to be 2 years of hard work. Are you up for it? So, do you want to help others? How do they develop such resilience and positive outlook?
So I just follow seeing like, and once after coming in Canada, I have learned one thing, like it's something which whatever happens is something for betterment. So just follow that path, and it's like you don't know what like you might get a job, but it's first of all in Canada you must be used to getting job rejections. That is one of the part which
Yeah,
someone, like many people are not, like you apply for 100 jobs and 100 of the jobs get rejected and people are like, what shit, what I'm going to do now? So you cannot be that kind of a person. And secondly, talking about developing that stuff, so I would say it was something since I started earning at an early stage. So that made me experience like how you can build up your own lifestyle on how much you earn. So that is something which had developed in me at an early stage, and that helped me to be resilient in Canada as well. Because again, you earn around $1,000 to $1,200 in a month, and you spend that whole money behind you because you have to pay your rent, your again
correct.
your groceries, your travel, and your what say phone bills as well. So yeah, it has been a kind of a struggle life. But again, as once you used to say, struggle is just a starting. You don't know what there might be a leisure at your ahead journey. So yeah, just
Yeah.
waiting for that leisure is something which motivates me to do more amount of hard work and put more amount of efforts in my daily work life and study life routines. So that is one of the things that I have like developed, to just wait for that right time and like put more efforts till then to get that right thing much more earlier.
Yeah, I think it's always the work-life balance, right? Though I know we're living in changing times, anything can happen, and our end goal can keep getting stretched. But at the end, you still get paid for every hour that you clock in. That is a big
Yes,
relief as compared to India. We've got a long way to get to that work culture.
yes.
Coming to the job rejection, you talk as if it's casual, it should be expected, it's okay, take it in your stride. But after staying there for so many months, do you get feedback if you're getting rejected? Anything that you think students should start working on their skills right when they're in the home country?
I think so, not specifically, but if you are applying to high multinational companies such as Walmart, McDonald's, it would be just that automated message that you will get from them that thank you for applying and all stuff. But yeah, if you are up, I would suggest that if you are in India currently and looking to get an early job in Canada, one thing a student can work on is build up an ATS friendly resume, which is one of the
Yes.
things people do start work. Like I myself didn't knew about, like knew about it, but I did not work on it, and I had to work on after I came here. So that took couple of days for me to like build up a ATS friendly resume. And apart from that, I would say you can also, while you are in India, you can also start applying to basic jobs such as McDonald's, Walmart, and metros and all the superstores and the grocery stores. It might help you. But yeah, getting
But again, if
rejections.
your visa doesn't come through, such applications will not hold true, right? But what you spoke about ATS friendly resume, yes, I agree. They shouldn't be as clueless. And I remember you just pushing resumes my way, or you talking to me and saying, what do I have to do for the resume? And I said, you need to work on it, right? Because now we're living in that workspace where for every company, you'll have to tailor your resume differently. It cannot be one size fits all. Do you agree with me on that?
Yes, I would say that here it's specific. Like once now I have started applying for full-time jobs, so I do
Yes.
see that you have to like apply with a different resume with each and every position or each and every company you apply. You cannot just
Yes.
like build up a resume and distribute it in 100
Yeah.
applications. That is one thing. And apart
That's what
from that,
we
I would
do
also,
back in India, right? Make one
yeah,
resume, probably copy it from
yeah,
our friend, copy paste
yes,
that on a Word document and upload on all the sites, Naukri,
yes,
Monster, Shine, whatever is the new
yes,
shiny thing. But it doesn't work
yeah,
in Canada, right?
no,
So
no.
um, network, what I have understood while talking to recruiters in Canada or any international recruiter, they tell me that 80% of jobs are given on reference basis, right? If you know someone in the company that's recommending your name. So how have you built your network? And again, if you have any tips for students that they can start working right away.
So I would say that building a network as is it's important. So I would say it's your college that you can like they can help you out for it. Like in Canada, it's not like in other professors. Like in India, we have professors who might not help you out or like might not have uh, connections in the same field that you want to work in. But in Canada, it's totally different. Like the people who teach you, they bring up a whole bunch of experience in the same field, and they are openly like they are open to you to share their connections and help you out with different stuff such as building your LinkedIn profiles, helping you to build up your resumes, and even if possible, they if you build up a good rapport with them, they might refer you as well. So that is one of the stuff that you can develop after coming to Canada. But again, talking about building network, that's something that you have to be again active on Instagram or LinkedIn, such as things like that, and build up your own network accordingly.
I seriously feel you have a magic pill because I again remember you are an A-lister student in Centennial. You've completed all your projects and got the best marks. So I, it's a lot of things that you're doing. Uh, how do you manage your time? Do you have any tips that students can take away from this conversation?
It's just, I guess it's nothing about managing, but it's something like about how you do. Like in Canada, it's totally different, I would say. The work, the study culture is totally different. It's not like you write your exams and you get marks, or you just, what say, you just mug up things and you just vomit it at the exam. Some things don't work here. It's just about presenting. So talking about that things, even I would say, uh, even after coming to Canada, even public, I was not a good speaker, I could say, or not good public speaker. So even that is one of the things which have developed since I have done couple of presentations and project works. So in Canada, it's something like you have presentations and assessments, and again submissions and assignments, things like that, which are graded on. So it's how you, I could say, how you fast. It's either you do it by yourself or you get good friends to do it. It depends on you. So that's something which also helps out. Like you get good teammates and you help them in one project and they help you in another project simultaneously.
Right.
So that's something that works on as well.
So your team building skills are excellent, presentation skills, public speaking. Now I can definitely sense, though In IELTS, I think again, you're just a student, so I'm not asking you any questions. I'm the one taking you through. But I see a different person, right? From you sitting in your house in India in the comfort where your mom's entering the room and you're probably nudging her to go away, to now this independent life. I'm extremely happy to see this. Um, you said that professors lead you to network, they understand, they even recommend you for jobs. So, what you're telling everybody here that it's not going to be cakewalk, but it's definitely worth it. Are there
Yeah.
times where you're questioning that did I make the right decision? Or as the days are passing by, you're getting that confidence that it's the best decision of my life to come to Canada post COVID?
I would say that it has been the best decision because being frank, it has like taught me to live my life from the scratch, and it has not just developed my various skills, but it has developed my like me as a good person as well, where you don't have the comfort of living with your parents and parents doing like back in India, I had the comfort of living with my parents doing most of the things for me, my
Yes.
mother doing preparing my food for me, but now in Canada it's all something different. So yeah,
Yes.
it has developed me in that manner, and apparently it has developed me as a person as well, where now I have started to be more extrovert, talking to more people, engaging with more people, and building relationships with them. So yeah, that has been a good decision till date. And talking about an experience, it's something that I might not have got an opportunity to experience in India. So yeah,
Yes.
that has been a good decision till date.
Yeah, I think you have a very positive outlook, and I'm sure once you're going to come back home, you're going to be more appreciative of your parents and things that they do for you. Uh, is there any inkling or trace of having negative emotions for getting rejected so many times at jobs? Because I know you've been trying to apply at so many places and you're still in the process of applying at good jobs, good companies. At any point, do you have that negative feeling of what the, dash, it's not worth it? Why am I getting rejected? And this is not a fair deal.
I would just say like it's basically for me now it's as like casual. It has been I have been taking it casual. Like I expect more. Sometimes it happens that we expect more of rejections now than acceptance in Canada since you apply 200 jobs. So now we know like you if you're gonna reject, they're gonna reject. That's nothing that we can do on. So it's nothing, just a part and parcel of
Everybody takes it
application process.
casually.
Yeah, because it's like we know it my so there have been so if you now been applying to a MNC company or a MNC bank, you are 50 to 60% sure that you might be rejected because first of all you are a student and they might not
Yes.
hire a student, and secondly I am not a student from a financial background, so even that can be a reason to reject. But again, you just apply because you don't know, that might be a lucky thing
Yes.
for you and you might enter it. So yeah, it's something like that. We I would say it has been like you apply with an intention of 80% of times getting rejected and 20% of times being accepted. So that has been the formula for us to like accept rejections more easily, I could say.
And even your college or your university, you were comfortable with the experience, or you went with a certain image and it didn't live up to that expectation? Or so far, how would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest? You have
So
completed one course. So, how would you rate your experience at Centennial?
so talking about my centennial experience, it has been something which I did not experience, like did not expect, I
Expect.
would say. Yeah, because I had not expected this huge college to be my campus, and it is like in you have 10 to 15 buildings and a big gym and many people like around you, and it's like too much big for me. I did not, since being in India, my college was just one building, so I did not expect this
Right.
much things. So it has been like you just stay at the college and you play games at the college, you enjoy parties at the college. You don't expect that. So yeah, it has been 10 on 10 for me. But yeah,
Wow, that's
again,
nice.
yeah, yeah. So that has been an important one reason that has helped me to stay happy in Canada, I could say as well.
Yeah. Did you make a lot of friends at the Centennial campus?
Yeah, so it is again talking about the Sentinel campus. So it is something which has a major, I could say, 50 to 40% majority of Indian students coming up there. So yeah, that is one of the advantage I could say of being having Indian friends. But again, I would say it's much more of the professors that take into that they are not from the Indian culture, but they are have been Canadians, or probably if Indian, they have been staying in Canada for like more than 20 years or 15 years or so. So again, the I would say the student experience can be that a student might experience more amount of Indian students after coming to Canada as well, because again, the majority of the students come from India. But
Right.
yeah, you again, after you come to a place which is so far away from your home, having Indian friends sometimes help you out as well. Like it is like whenever, like for now, if I have an emergency, having an Indian friend would be an advantage for me, that he might be up for me to help me out or stay with me if I need him at late night. So that is something which helps me out as well. But talking about foreign, like I could say other students apart from being Indians, they might be not too much close to me in initial months or initial days. So they might not be able to help me out whenever needed also. So I think in that way. So yeah, that has motivated me to have some Indian friends, I could say, and we have been sharing a good bond. We have been going out to places and doing various outings, and they have been a for family for me, I can say right now. And they have been together during the ups and downs in Canada. So yeah, that's something which I am kind of grateful as well and after coming to Canada.
Yeah, I definitely do not undermine the importance of friends that make you feel like family. But I'm also a
Yeah.
believer that we're going to and we're already working with global teams. So when you start working in multinational organizations, you will probably have an American or European and Indian, working all on one project where I feel all of you students should make efforts to be friendly with other nationalities as well. So be mindful, I would say, if you want to work in a global environment. So find opportunities. I know most of you students are hanging out with the same batch that you were in India because it's comfort zone, it's family. You guys understand each other's, when we are up for an assignment, when we want to give it a pass. That's where I'm going to definitely encourage you to make more friends from other nationalities. Try to get out of your comfort zone if possible. Because I'm sure in the long run, again, you're going to come back and probably have a conversation that, yes, this helps me or it helped me.
In that way, I would say that talking about my study thing, though I have majority of my friends who are from India, but again, talking about my workplace, it's totally different. If you see, like if you see at my workplace, it's just two or three of us who are from India, and the rest
Okay.
all are from different part of the world, such as
Wow,
Philippines,
that's nice.
Canada. Yeah, so that has, like, I would say workplace is something different that cannot be much more attached to our personal
Yes.
life. Yeah, so that is something which can be totally different. But yeah, working with them is also something very grateful. Like you get to know different things, you get to learn about their cultures, and like you get, first of all, I would say you get to know how their work culture is, and it's something which is very different from work culture back in India. So yeah, that has
Okay,
been
so
something.
are you welcomed in? like at workplace with different nationalities, or we have an image of nerdy Indians, or was it easy to adjust with other nationalities? Let's just ask this simple question
It is kind
for
of
now.
not easy and easy as well, I would say. Like for instance, if you are someone working like me at a like a fast food chain or something, when the time when you are free, you might not be much more flexible, or might not, like for instance, when we two Indians work at a place at a workplace at the same time, when we are free, we share some conversation in our typical Hindi or back home Gujarati language, and it kind of builds an rapport that we already have, and we don't need to build it on. So that is
Correct.
something that can be helpful. But again, talking about them, I believe that they are very much different as we see. They are not someone who kind of ignore Indians or believe that we are nothing capable of doing. They welcome us a lot. And I would say that they are some, if you work hard, they would have like always have believe on you. I would say they are not like back home Indian thing that you have to do that catering
Apple
the
polishing.
managers. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
Yes.
so that
That's
has
not
been
there.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
good.
is the good
So,
part.
yeah, so they are welcoming, and I think even we should make that effort, to talk to
Yes,
them. And
agreed. So again, if you are not someone who are not doing, like you're not up to the mark at your workplace, they won't like help you out as well. It's on
yeah,
you how you show up your first image and how you work with them.
yeah, I'm sure. Actually, I can have endless questions, and I think you're going to be a recurring or a revisit guest for sure. But I'm going to end this conversation by asking you something that's extremely close to my heart, which is how important are your communication skills at play in Canada? Are they helping you, or you think it's not important? It's okay to talk in any way, anyhow.
I think it, like specifically if you talk about Canada work culture, it's totally important because you cannot be that much relaxed, or you cannot be that lavy at a workplace. You have to be that specific. Talking about your communication as well, when you have the greetings, when you share the greetings or take greetings from your managers and your customers, you cannot be like, okay, you have to be like kind of someone who, because being frank, I have seen that Canadians are someone who don't take, though I work at McDonald's, so people who come at McDonald's, they don't take you as a worker of McDonald's. They treat you as a same amount of uh, kind of equality. So they try to build up conversations with you as well. So you might be up, you should be up for building up that conversation as well. So even that is
Wow.
something which has helped me to kind of enhance my communication skills as well. And talking about my study life, so if you do not have a good communication background, you won't be able to like build up good communication things, like good communication rapport with your teammates or your classmates or your professors. So again, developing communication skills is something which has to be like on to go list of each and every person coming abroad.
Yeah, for sure. But again, you belong to Mumbai, born and brought up in the same city that I'm born and brought up. Do you think other people from other cities are struggling with communication and they're having a hard time in Canada?
uh yeah, I have seen people, like I won't be able to disclose, but it's like I have seen
Yes,
people from different parts of
parts of
India
India.
who have just apparently just passed up their English exam and IELTS exam and just came that it's of no use just for the visa purpose, and they just come
Yes.
here and they are not able to speak up English, and later on they face that they are not able to communicate with the people who are like with the Canadians. So it becomes a bit difficult for them to find jobs. They have to like take a help over of someone who is already knowing English and can help them to get a
Yeah.
job or something like that. So yeah, that is not something which I guess Canada expects from the people as well. So yeah, I think that it's not that IELTS is just for sake of visa or it's just for coming to Canada, but
Yeah.
English is something which someone has to take upon seriously. And yeah, it's something that can, if you are just a normal speaker and a intermediate speaker of English, you accordingly develop your English speaking skills coming after here as well, since you speak more, I could say more rapidly in English, or more times you have to speak. It's just one language that you speak, and you don't speak Hindi or Marathi or
Yes.
the other language here. So it's just one language that you can communicate with others. So yeah, it develops accordingly as well.
Yeah, it is an essential need, right? As the world is getting smaller and smaller, and English is a universal language. So it helps
Yeah.
you, you're more welcome in other work places as well. So, yeah, I think that was my last question. Thank you so much, Manav, for being the person you are actually overall. Thank you for agreeing to do this. And I hope to see you sometime soon, probably when you get the next job or you spend another year in Canada. We can have this again. Is there anything else that you would like to share as your parting note, or we should end it
Mm,
right here?
I just like to thank you for having me at this place and your podcast. It's been a great journey working with you and having shared my this part of journey with you. And yeah, it was nice
Yes.
having you, like sharing my life experience with you on this podcast.
Yeah, I think again, I thank you for trusting me, and I'm extremely proud of you. And yeah, we can keep talking about how grateful we are that our paths crossed. But thank you, and we're going to end this podcast here. And thank you so much for your time. I will see you
Yeah,
on the other side.
thank you so much, Anki.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode. I hope that added value to any of your decision making process. If you found this valuable, please do consider sharing this with your friends. Also, hit the subscribe button before you go, and I will see you for yet another episode.
What is freedom? Waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night